Welcome back to the 2016 Castrol Edge Improved Production Nationals. It's the under 2 litres rolling out for their third heat of the weekend. We've seen some great battles between Jowett and Cox already. Algie there behind coming down through the field now. You can just see him in the 86. Oh, Algie, as they're saying in the broadcast van. So
we'll get that right today,
working that one
Algie.
out. Apologies to that team. They're having a great time down here, though, at Phillip Island. And just look at these cars. Absolutely fantastic to see, Darren.
I tell you what is so impressive is the lap times that these under 2 litre cars are doing. Under 44s yesterday for under 2 litre cars is just absolutely amazing. Just a quick refresh on the way the meeting points set up for Graham Cox is leading. He's got the full stack of 100 points. Bob Jowett in the identical Honda Civic on 90, and it's back to Simon O'Dell Fontana in the RX-7. I'm not sure how that's under 2 litre unless it's got a 10A in it. I do certainly feel sorry for him if that's the case. 84 points there, and then the next Civic is an 82, then Matthew Harris on 72. So that rounds out our top 7. But these cars out in front, although they are under 2 litre, they are absolutely not hanging around. And it's sort of, I suppose, gives us a little bit of a glimpse in what might start happening in maybe 5 or 6 years' time as some of these cars get further and further developed, because these cars in front of this field, you could
see the lift of the Escort there.
You could inject them into the over 2 litre field and they'd be in the sort of 20 or thereabouts. So these guys, thank goodness the under 2 litre guys have got their own nationals this year, so they all get to perform on the big stage at the very pointy end of the field. So for me, being that I raced in under 2 litre for a long time, it's really, really cool to see this, and it's a great inclusion in the 2016 Castrol Edge Improved Production Nationals.
Well, in 2014 they had their own independent nationals, and that was a great event, very successful for the 20 cars that were down there for that one.
At
Wakefield Park, taken out by Canberra and Danny. I've forgotten his last name now. I'm sorry to have to do that. But anyway, he took out the event in the car that is now out there as well, another Honda Civic. So those cars are getting very well developed, and in New South Wales, the category is going from strength to strength with numbers. There's a lot of cars being built. There's a lot of cars that are heavily involved. One there, Ian Price. We've got to do a shout out to Ian with the Zero Tolerance Motorsport and Vantage Automotive car. He's going for the Grid Fillers Cup, which is a sort of fun cup in amongst themselves where the points always vary. So we can't give you much more information than that. He might take out full points for beating Wildridge home, but he might not. With Hansen having a DNF in the first race as well, you don't know where their points could be at. But that just shows as well the fun that these guys have with their racing in the under 2 litres, where they all put their best effort, try to put their best foot forward and have some fun while doing it. And it's great to see the diversity out there. There's a Harris's, 2 identical Roadrunner liveries for William and Brad Harris. So
I think the Simon O'Dell Fontana car that I was talking about, I know it's David Walden in the RX-3, so we'll try and clear that up there. An RX-7 would normally have a 12A or a 13B in it, but unless it's been a decompressed 12A, so that'd be an interesting piece of kit to keep an eye on. So it's Cox, Jowett, O'Dell Fontana, Reynolds, Walden, Harris, Algie, Harris, Cooper, Cassato, Harris, and Price, as we mentioned in the number 7, Bohm, Gallen. Paul Griswold's down the field there, currently just taken out the Victorian Improved Production Championship. This race, of course, being individually sponsored by the Asola di Capri down in Cowes. If you're looking for a good feed of Italian food and you're in Cowes, head down and see Eddie and the crew down at the Asola di Capri for all their support.
Griswold is who's running the car that last won an outright under 2 litre championship for Nationals at Wakefield Park. So that's where that car is as we wait for the lights to come on. Cox will be looking to get the lead down into turn 1 and hold off Jowett yet again. We're away. It looks like a pretty even start at the front. Price is making move down the inside. We've got the other Escort going left, and now we spread out for the traditional fan down into turn 1.
So this is Cox and Jowett. They're leading the field down. They're side by side. Disappear into turn 1 there. There's a big move there. Casado. There's 2 Escorts, 2 Mark II Escorts there, just getting a little bit sketchy with each other. Absolutely surrounded by them. The 77 of Algie
Price
also in there. The AE82 type car. We normally see that in drifting, that model car. Very popular these days, but doing a very good run out of turn 3. 2 Escorts side by side. That's the number 7. Yep. And the 46.
Price has found himself on the outside of Jellin, who we saw lift that front wheel during the warm-up lap, so that car has a lot of twist in it, but he's using it to his advantage at the moment, though ultimately he's lost out to Price down at Honda. Price sideways, getting the power down. Everybody behind him having to check up. That's going to give the Harris boys a bit of a run, and you can be sure they'll be on a tear around the outside as we pick up a little bit further down the field with the 86 coming around. So that's Williamson.
Gee, I tell you what, Price, who runs the zero tolerance team there, he had a whole lot of opposite lock with a whole lot of tolerance there.
He's pushing hard. He wants to get
Absolutely.
towards the front. They've spent so much time rejuvenating that car for this weekend, and he's expecting to have a good run. So he's just trying to maintain his position in front of this battle as the Harrises now start to assault him. Here he comes down the inside, gets the move done. So that was a double Harris manoeuvre on 2 escorts there. And I tell you what, they've done well between the two of them.
Couple of Swift GTs there. Brad and William we're talking about there, and the Harrises. There they are now, centre of screen. And the number 39. That's the Honda of Anthony Wilton.
So
The Integra
Wilton
out
is
of
out.
New South Wales is out. And that's on driver's left heading into Lukey Heights, past the hay shed. We've got a fire vehicle on the roll there as
Yeah.
well, so not sure what that was about.
Jowett is starting to lose ground to Cox. Behind them is Reynolds, who's been trying to keep them honest all weekend. As we just have a look back through the field, there's Harris and Algie just behind. And now we're coming around with Walden and Odell Fontana. Walden very wide into Southern Loop. Looked like he got a massive amount of understeer and just couldn't pull the car up.
Yeah, the 808 or the RX3 there going very wide. Good shot there. Gee, it's a very much history making that body shape. Both the RX7 and the RX3 were very, very dominant for many years in this form of racing. So we've got yellows being waved at the entry to Lukey Heights. Not a problem really. There's not a lot of passing manoeuvres you're going to be able to put on there. It's the plunge down into MG corner that will be the issue. Whether they've got a green flag at the top of the hill, let's hope they have. There's the number 19 now, David Walden, RX3. And the number 28 going through there as well, Matt Harris. And they're charging.
Harris trying to keep off Algie's front bar there as he was coming through Honda corner. He's pulled out a little bit on him, and Odell Fontana looks like he's closed up to the car in front of him to be able to put some pressure on Reynolds, that is. So this little battle for third place in the race is starting to come on strong now as Odell Fontana finds some speed and starts to put pressure on Reynolds. You can see the Civic locking up the rear wheel. Of course, a front-wheel drive car. You see a lot of front-wheel drive cars in under 2 litre, and that just the balance of the car shifting away from the rear wheels, and you get that lovely rear wheel lock-up, reminiscent of World Touring cars and British Touring cars there.
Yeah, it's certainly very stiffly sprung. The best way to make these cars work around Phillip Island is to be very stiffly sprung, and we'll see the likes of Bruce Woodward, who used to lift up their left-hand rear wheel at Southern Loop. He'd lift it up entering the corner, it'd still be there at the apex, and it's a double apex corner, and he'd just land the wheel down. It was like watching an aeroplane land, and the smoke would plume because the wheel would be off the ground that long and it'd stop spinning. So Bruce is down the middle to the back of this field at the moment, but some of these front-wheel drive cars, they can set them up so nicely that they lift that off, and you're basically getting less coefficient of drag.
That's it. You save on the tyre wear, maybe plunge those Yokohamas onto the front for the final, and you've had a good weekend for lower cost as Walden now starts to close up in that 10A RX3. So he's pushing hard. I think he's going to get a chance to go down the inside of Odell here. I think he's going to get it done. No, he ultimately doesn't have a look, decides to sit in and just wait another lap. He's going to run out of time though, because we're on lap 3 of 4. This race is going to be over quicker than you can blink really here.
So Algie's putting the pressure on now. Putting pressure on now, and looking for it to try and get through. Now we're
Look at this
coming
battle.
out of turn 2. This is midfield.
Walter's there. He's trying to hold off the 93.
Is Gary Edwards, the
yeah.
E30 BMW. So that's got the 4-cylinder in it, being that have to be under 2 litre. It might be a 2 litre 6-cylinder, in fact, actually, out of a later E32.
And
which are allowed
McKigan
to do
holding
that.
them off just in front. So a good little battle between these guys. They're fighting for 27th in the race. So you can see just way down the field that they're still having a battle that's intense as anybody else, swapping positions and ultimately not trading paint, doing a good job here at the Castrol Edge Improved Production Nationals. Looks like 3 wide from that angle as they come towards Hayshed. Walters has managed to get through, so he's made the move.
Doesn't matter
got
where
the
we
job
look in the
done.
under 2 litres, there's battles going on where people may be new to the sport or they've been around a while and just don't quite have the reflexes that they may have had in the past. But Waters has got through now in the 36 and heads out after the chase very, very hard.
He's got a bit of a gap there, so it's going to be ultimately just trying to hold off these two behind him now. to be able to get to the finish as the leaders have gone on to the final lap. So Cox with a pretty decent lead at the moment. He's got 1.2 seconds over Jowett, and Jowett's got 3.8 back to Reynolds. So you can see here there's a lot of daylight between them, and we might just see what some of the gaps look like here as we see Cox go round and head out to Siberia yet again. Hopefully this doesn't show too much what the, I guess, final's going to look like, because Cox has started to walk away out in front. He's managed to get himself into quite a comfortable lead. Jowett just backing off. I'd say he'd be maintaining that car for the final later today.
Yeah, look, these guys will be sort of line ball on points. They're going to be first and second anyway, so they're going to advance their way through to the main race for the under 2 litres. So
we've had Ian Price is off at turn 4. There he is back onto the track now. So not great for Ian. Sorry to cut across you there, Darren, but right. Price having a big spin and he's lost a few positions.
So Price, who was having a ripping run over the first 2 laps, just all that good work coming undone. Here's our race leader coming around what used to be called Belinda's Terrace a long, long time ago here at Phillip Island, and come around to BMW Corner and under that famous Melbourne Victoria sign. And this is a flying car. In fact, this guy could be injected into the overs 2 litres in the outright running this weekend for the National. He's that fast. Across the line he goes, acknowledges the flag. He'd be pretty happy with his run up to what is now going to be the main race for these guys later on today.
Yeah, that's their heats pretty much completed here, with Cox taking 3. So he's looking good going into the final as we go further around. I think Reynolds is holding off Griswold there. So Reynolds coming back through the field after we saw his charge during Heat 2, ultimately ending in a spin. And we're looking at the number 86 of Williamson here being chased down by Dean, who has that Corolla punching a little bit above its weight to be right up behind him. So a good battle between those two, bringing it home to the flags, and it looks like Williamson will hold on. They split side by side, but Williamson gets there at the line. And Ian Price just got home in front of Reynolds as well. So
where did Ian Price end up at the end? He's 15th. Yep. So, well, it's not setting himself up as wild as he did. Paul Griswold's the current Victorian champion, gets to the line in 17th. So we'll keep an eye on him. He's got a bit of a challenge ahead of him to get right back at the pointy end of things. So it's Cox, Jowett, Reynolds, Walton, Odell Fontana, Harris, Algie in the 77 Toyota through there. Then it's Saint, Harris, Jellin, Custo, and Bohm. That rounds out our 10. And already recovery's underway. We've still got guys coming across the line there. So we're trying to make up time rapidly as the park recovery crew is working very, very hard.
So Fitzgerald, unfortunately, I guess is a non-finisher for this race, because he wouldn't have got to the exit of Honda. And I'll not finish the race.
Mike Fitzgerald was on 27 points, so he needed to get a good haul in this. Although the under 2 litre guys are all pretty much going to go through to the main race for the Nationals, and we thank the Asola de Capri for their support for the under 2 litres in this run.
And our stream will resume in about 15 minutes' time. It looks like a few of them are having a bit of a trouble to get back into the back of the pits here. So that's all we've got time for from the under 2 litres third heat race here at Phillip Island as part of the Castrol Edge 2016 Improved Production Nationals put on by IPRA Victoria. Make sure to give their Facebook page a like. We've had somebody stop here and he's maybe just going to get out and walk it home, ultimately having to push it. So that's not looking good as we head towards the final. Hop goes around the outside. He's had a good weekend as well.
It's the Lotus theory, isn't it? You just got to get it to the line and then make the crew push it back.